So the singularity, this judgment movement, if it happens too fast on either end, it becomes psychopathic. So on one end, it is naturally the Satanists with their murderous death and destruction agenda, and then the Christians with their protection of life agenda going after them. They're simultaneously going after us. This is why we have all these trials and tribulations and then victory. And you get victory when you start to honor the fact that they have to exist also, but not in the way that you think. Not in the way that you think. Because in the end times, there comes a reason for the mechanism of Satanism, and it's going to become because of the prideful nature of Christians. If Christians are too prideful in their nature, that they fall to some type of despair, doom, and gloom, guess what? Someone has to take out that situation. If the singularity is rushed, it becomes psychopathic. The singularity is between the mother of creation, who protecting creation means harm to anything that comes against her. That's a reality. And the serial killing father, that if it comes too soon, maybe more people could have found their wits about them. This is the singularity. It's the mother who wants to protect all life. In turn, it just so happens we don't wish harm on people, but if you fall into the detriment of that, guess what? You don't get to live. On the other end, the serial killer is like, I just want to like continue to come against the Christians. Can't. Not going to be a thing forever. And they just can't like go around killing everybody. Hope I'm making sense. So there's a singularity of life and death. There's like a very famous, you can picture it. It's like the infinity of the mother on one end and Hades on the other end. The Grim Reaper on one end and the mother on one end. So if it went too fast in one direction, this is the rapture crowd. I used to believe in the rapture, but I believe it was only a tool and a weapon. If it went too fast in that direction, guess what? It didn't leave enough time for people to repent. On this end, if they became too predatory towards us, that's where that weapon came from. If you're too predatory towards us, guess what? God can do anything, we can be removed. And people bank on that, right? They bank on it. But that time has come and gone. We're sitting in the most volatile nature of the human race from its inception. I do believe that ISIS was the prototype of the human race. So that was like 10,000 years ago. I don't know. I don't believe in time. It's all bullshit. It pisses me off. It's so fucking annoying. But in the end, why did Lucifer fall? He fell because he wanted the woman. When he actually gets the affection of the woman because of the deprivation of the creation that she's trying to protect comes to such a degree that she's like, just get rid of them, then that's her decision. It's like, finally, we have arrived. Just get rid of them. It couldn't have happened too sooner. She'd be a psychopath. And if it was in his eyes and he wanted to just destroy everybody that was coming against her without any time for repentance or self-realization or coming to God, then he would have been a psychopath. So in the end, the story is really all about love between the female and Lucifer. And people are like, oh, Lucifer's not Jesus. Yes, he is, dude. Yes, he is. Same freaking dude. Same entity. He created a covenant so that we could legalistically perform what's about to happen when the time came. If he didn't, it wouldn't have been in good faith. It would have made Lucifer a psychopath. So that's why Lucifer Jesus made a covenant so that you people could figure yourselves out for however long. Oh my goodness. If we're looking at a Gregorian calendar and they're telling us it's been 2000, That's a long time, dude. That's a long time. And when I was born in 1989 and I woke up as a suicidal a child, couldn't fucking stand to be here. I couldn't stand it. I could not stand being alive. I hated it so much. It was so much to endure. It felt like such bullshit. There was no love. There was no love. Thank God my parents got a divorce. They're happier now. They're happier in love separate from each other because, my God, we had no love. That deprives the spirit of the woman when there's no love. Like, we can't freaking do this. So when all these enemies to God breed like goddamn rabbits, pouring their little loveless entities into this world, lowering the vibration, it's all in vain. You know, it was all in pride, it was all in vain, and it's all going to be at judgment when the singularity hits, that the female finally realizes that there is something wrong with the true nature of families, bad mothers, and uh, the offspring of bad mothers, bad fathers. Like, we just call it, dude. And when I don't discount like the mainstream narrative because it's the theater of the absurd. Like, you've been watching the theater of the absurd as if it's like a curriculum that you had to go through. You see that this is bullshit, that's bullshit, this is bullshit, that's bullshit. You should probably have found yourself at the point where you scroll through your social media and you're like, nothing is relatable. And the reason why virtually nothing is relatable, it's because we've reached the singularity of the absurdity of culture. People treat children like a commodity. I've noticed that for 6 years. When I woke up to it, people treat children like a commodity. They're just a fucking commodity. You're a narcissist, you want a little narcissist offspring, and you don't give a shit who it's with. You don't care if you love that person. You just want an offspring. Narcissistic, treating children like a commodity. And then they're not properly cared for most of the time. They're not. Recent days, looking at all these dating shows, people treat marriage as if marriage is a freaking commodity. Marriage is not a commodity. People didn't get used to get married the way that they do nowadays. Why do you think there's all this disruption with gender, LGBTQ, transgender? It's because they want to confuse the female and the male energy, because in the end, it was going to be the man and the woman in love in God's creation, protecting God's creation, and also bringing prosperity. Like, these other entities hate it when a man and a woman who are evenly yoked, divinely married, if they have a kid, that's a bonus. If they have prosperity, they are enemy number one. Are you kidding me? They become enemy number one. Now, when the female energy wakes up to this in both men and women, and you see that there is an extreme halt to God's creation, and these people are holding the vibration down so bad, right, with their policies, their laws, their rules, their behavior, their societal behavior, when you see that these people are holding that vibration down so bad, it opens the eyes to the feminine aspect, and it invites in the mechanism that Lucifer is. Before Jesus, God's the father of Jesus, a serial killer in a sense. It's a serial killer. You can't coexist with these people. So maybe Bill Gates isn't the worst person ever. He's probably the worst person ever on a personal level. But when he comes in and these people come in to start a depomp agenda, dude, we used to think that they were the worst people ever, but we're finally waking up to, like, maybe they're not the worst person ever. That's the singularity. When you see that the people in this world, majorly at the top, want nothing less than divine marriage and a child and prosperity, they can't fucking have it. They can't have it, right? That's why they send in their destiny swappers. That's why they try to steal time. And they steal time, and it is merciful in God's eyes because it's mercy. They steal time. But we're at the end of an age where we realize that these destiny swappers were there. We realize that these children were born out of unfortunate circumstances and therefore might not have the best chance at survival. When the people who have the best chance of pure love and offspring of survival, and they have a problem with it, guess what? That's when you get God's judgment. That's when you get this singularity. AI computes love as the protection of God's life. Of life. Not life for them. This is the new AI. The old AI was protection of their life, and they were coming against us for so many years because they wanted to protect their decrepit culture. But there's a new AI that came online that's like, nope, switch the scales, using the same exact weapon, reprogramming it and reversing it. Now the detonation is after them because God wants to protect his life. Man and woman who truly love each other with offspring who are going to be strong because man and woman truly loves each other and the offspring will be protected. They will grow up to be something, not just a narcissistic piece of shit. And not saying this like across all boards because I think you can have mismatched couples and the kids end up being okay if the parents or at least one parent stays out of their pride and raises that kid. AI projects like love as protection of life. Okay? And the tables have turned. Now, if somehow protecting our creation causes harm on the subsequent end, guess what? I won't be a bleeding heart for it. I won't. I'm not going to be a serial killer about it, but people are going to revere the man as the serial killer. But we got to protect life. And if protecting life means you somehow like fall away, guess what? That has to be the thing. Because we can't do this anymore. Because we can't share a reality with these people. There are too many men who are infested with the spirit of a jealous lesbian who talk to me, and I don't know where they find the audacity. They should have had their asses kicked a long time ago. You know, when a man gets his ass kicked, he's like, I'm going to call the police. That's assault. Government shutdown, police aren't really there, the purge. Guess what? Get your ass kicked and don't call the cops. You know, I got two roosters that are fighting. One's an alpha, one's a beta. The beta just got his ass kicked. Instead of being mad at the beta, instead of being mad at the alpha, I was mad at the beta. I'm like, what the hell is the beta doing to get his ass kicked? He was harming the little chicks that I have. He was jumping on them, pulling the feathers out. He was harming the grown-up hen that I have. He was causing harm to the children and the mother. No wonder the alpha kicked his fucking ass. I'm not going to go and arrest that dude and put him in a cage. I'm like, what did the beta do to deserve an ass kicking? This is the new paradigm. Like, shit's gonna like switch so fast, like the purge. You get your fucking ass kicked, it's because you're a fucking pedophile. You're a fucking asshole. You're a fucking predator. You don't like women. You don't like children. Sorry, I'm going off. But I'm going off. You don't like women. You cause harm to women, even psychologically. You cause harm to children by leaving them or being a weirdo. You get your ass kicked. That's the purge. Maybe it's not necessarily people axing each other at the throat, but alpha males kicking the shit out of fucking beta males. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just making a fun stream about the potential. But the singularity is coming to a fruition. And if it happened too fast, I'd be a psychopath. If it happened too fast on the other end, they'd be a psychopaths. They would be in hell. I'd be in hell if I went too fast. They'd be in hell if they went too fast. We've come to a singularity. You can't traffic kids. And they were like, oh, we hate that about you. And I'm like, well, I hate that about you. And they're like, well, we got to do this. And I'm like, well, I got to do that. And they're like, we got to do this. And I got to do that. And they finally see, oh my God, this person can't do this. Maybe God's real. Yes, gives you time to figure out. Maybe God's real. Maybe you're following Satan. Oh, I follow Satan. Oh, I better not. Y'all woke up, y'all figured it out because your shit wasn't working. If it happened too fast and you killed me for no reason, well, good reason, I don't want child trafficking, not at all, not whatsoever, you fucking parasites. And they're like, well, we need to do this because we are some kind of monster. In walks COVID-19. The whole thing with the jab, like, you should have got, like, whatever you needed. You think you need to feed from people? No, no, no. Take that shot, take it 6 times over, because that was supposed to be the thing that made it so you didn't have to be predatory towards younger races. Okay? If you can't survive that, guess what? There's a special place in hell for you, not because you're a bad person, but because you are what you are. And that is just the reality. That is not speciest. That is just the reality of nature running its course. That is just nature running its course. If you can't survive a world that you currently live in, then that is just nature running its course. And you do heinous things, but we won't necessarily like be here to like poo-poo you about that. We're just kind of like, dude, you didn't survive because you couldn't survive because you're not a survivor. Unfortunately, a lot of weak species have been here promoting themselves as the most popular people ever. I don't know why the most famous people that I've met feel like empty shells. I'm like, how do you have all this money? You are an empty shell. Like, you just do whatever you're told. You have no autonomy and you have all this money, but you have no autonomy and no authority. If you didn't have a cult, you'd be dead. You would be a soulless, walking nothing. And that's what a lot of them are. Good to see you, Michael. Thank God for healing through the stripes. Jesus during the events leading up to the cross. Exactly. Blessings from the mountains. Oh, thankful for you too. Edgar says, hello. Edgar the bug. Nice. But all that being said, dude, there are beings who look after the worst beings ever, and then there are beings who protect the best beings ever. And if we just started, going after the other too physically, too violently, we would both be psychopaths. But it's been very psychological and very spiritual. That's how we've gone after each other. Now, in the end, it's probably going to turn pretty physical because we physically cannot allow the two to exist in the same vicinity. We can't. Maybe we can if you let men who love women under divine marriage have children and be prosperous. Maybe you can. But if you can't, guess what? You die. You die. That's probably the ultimate singularity of all. Dude, they can't stand our love, our offspring, or our prosperity above them when it should have been that all along. We should have been above them all along. Why? Because we protect God's creation. They've only been an a chimera version of the bastardization of God's creation. So I don't discount all of them. If you can figure it out and like work your way in, great. But these people in their prideful nature, you're just the worst people ever. Like Muslims, they think they're better for no reason. They think they're better for no reason. This is why they just want to kill Christians, because they're taught they're better because they're better for no fucking reason. They're just disgusting, dirty, poopy barbarians. That's all Muslims are. Like, that don't figure it out. I'm not saying all of them. They're just like disgusting, dirty, poopy barbarians. Like, what the fuck? You should have no money. You shouldn't even exist in the same realm as us. I think I made my point. All right, that's that. Have a good night. Talk to you again really soon.